My name's Aaron, welcome back to my channel. Yes, end of year fantastical review. I'm feeling full of regalia and fantasticalness, and I'm going to review the fragrances that I found particularly beautiful, exquisite and mind-blowing. So without further ado, I take you on to this fantastical journey. So in one of the earliest videos I did, which the sound was rubbish and the everything was rubbish, but I will do a proper review next year, and the first fragrance I'm going to talk about is Black Orchid, which used to be a fragrance which I wore years and years ago, and I still find exquisite and beautiful, and I will be doing a proper review on it next year because I think it's mind-blowingly fantastical. So I will spray this all on my skin because I think they're all fantastic. Triggering you. It's so funny. Oh gosh, people are so precious. I love this very much. I think it is a groundbreaking, fantastical creation. I really think this is one of the most groundbreaking things I've ever smelled in my entire life. It still sets my hair on fire. It still makes me very, very happy. I love the depth of patchouli. I love the chocolate. I love the woods coming in. I love the sort of slightly floral, fruity notes going through it. I think it is phenomenal, excellent, fantastical creation. I mean, I really think for me, personally, I don't know if it's dated, if people consider it a dated formulation. I don't really know because, as you know, I don't ever smell stuff. I don't buy stuff. I buy the little samples. And that's what it is. I rate this a 10, actually. I think it's the most groundbreaking thing. There was nothing like this before. And I think it's one of those things which is just beautiful. I think it's just completely unisex. I think it's very dark, very sexy, very naughty. And I think it absolutely should go in the Hall of Fame with fantasticalness. It is so me. And it actually was this fragrance that started this fragrance journey for me because I smelt it on a lot of other people and I wanted to create my own fantasticalness. And when, unfortunately, that is the downside of it, that it is everywhere so often that you smell it non-stop, and that is a downside. But I think it's exquisitely made. I think it is academically perfect. For me, this is a perfection of how you create naturals combined with aroma chemicals to create a story. It is fantastic longevity, it is fantastic projection, and I think this is fantastic. And yes, I can't really say much on that, so I think this is my all-time favourite fragrance. Yes, I think it's fantastical, and it brings me much joy to smell this years later. Yes, it's just beautiful, beautiful creation. I think it's exquisite and it's what set my journey off, so that's why I give it a 10, because I am in awe of the perfumers, I am in awe of the company, and I love it very much. There's a very, very special place in my heart. Number 2 on the list was the Dior Ombre Noir, which I think is the most incredible interpretation of how to manipulate naturals, a lot of naturals, a high percentage of naturals, with exquisite French perfumery, with a journey, with a story. This was beautiful and mind-blowing, and I've actually been inspired because of this to use real bergamot in a completely different way. This blew my head off my shoulders, and I actually have a release coming out in January which I was so inspired by this. I am using bergamot, real bergamot, as the top note. It is nothing like this at all, but it is a fantastical creation. I can't really, it makes me very high, so I think this is a fantastical, joyous, beautiful creation. I really am in awe of this perfume. This to me is like the finest art, the finest thing that I could possibly smell. To me, this is refinement, beauty, art, poetry. It's just exquisitely put together, and really it brings me a lot of joy to smell this, and that there are perfumers doing such exquisite work. And I know the development time is very long in this, and I know that he was allowed to take his time and not rushed, and really expense was not really the thought you have to create something for very little amount of money. I think this was, we're going to allow you to have a little bit more money and create something really beautiful. I think this is a classic. I think it's very long lasting in the fact that it is sometimes with a lot of naturals and a lot of citruses you do not get the 12 hours plus, but I think for a citrus formulation I think the longevity is fantastic. I gave it a 9, and the reason I didn't give it a 10 is because it is not very long lasting and it does not have that massive projection, but I don't really care because it is an exquisite bit of poetry. I see it like exquisite poetry, exquisite art. I think that the perfumer was just knew his art and his identity with this, and it really is a bravo to me. I can't really say much more than that. Number 3 on the list is by Kilian, Back to Black, which I just got shivers from, so yes. Oh gosh. I had never smelt a top note made of honey and done so exquisitely. This is an exquisite, beautiful number 9. Again, it would have been a 10 if it would have had longevity and a bit more projection. The longevity is, I know where it suffers from this, but I gotta say, it is like artwork to me. It smells of love, it smells of warmth, it smells of generosity, it smells of love, and the perfumer again really knows his craft, and it is very exciting. And this inspired me so much that I am releasing a fragrance in January which has a honey, incense, sandalwood and bergamot smokiness to it. And because of those two, I was very inspired to create an interpretation of something that moves between the two. So I mean, you can't get a higher enough compliment. I don't think that if a perfumer says that is so amazing, I have to go and create something. These two push me in a direction that I have never been before, and I love creating it, and it was very easy to create because my mind was just so beautifully elevated, and these two are just fantastical creations. This I think is a massively unisex. I think is a thoughtful fragrance. I think is a date fragrance. I think this is not a first date fragrance, a second date fragrance when you are getting to know someone and you're showing them that softer side, and you're opening up and exposing that you could love them. I think it's exquisite. I think this would be a beautiful gift that could be given in for love, that I love you and this is my gift to you. I think it's absolutely worth the money. I think it's fantastical and I love it. Number 4 on the list is Black of, I can't pronounce it. Dear me, I'm going to spray this onto my skin as well. This I liked for a completely different reason. I personally don't think it is so academically perfect, but I think it is exciting, and this is when I love perfumery, when it is gritty and different and exciting, and I really liked it. I like the way it is, dealing with narcotics. I like the way it is dealing with sort of grit and grime and excitement. Where it falls short to me is, again, it hasn't got the longevity and it's a little bit too light for me. I would have liked, this is like a day version of My Sense. I think it's very good. I think it's slightly more sort of male to slightly more female, but actually I think it's massively unisex actually. I think it's great. I can't really say much more than that. It's again, it is not so for me so technically in perfection as the Dior, which I think is, to me, for that sort of thing, I think that stands as an academic just amazingness. But I think this is terribly exciting with a lot of softness coming through. I don't know who the perfumer was. I don't really know anything, and I don't really research, to be honest. I just get my head in it. But I think this is a very thoughtful person, and I think they would be a lovely person because there was a lot of love in this, and this is what all these smell like. There was a lot of love and care and attention in this. And the final one in the list is Tom Ford Tobacco Vanille. I love this. I love the amazing way they have manipulated a lot of aroma chemicals to smell natural, which I think is a academic gift. It's very difficult to do that. I think this is manipulation of the vanillas with the tobacco, giving slight greenness, coming down into sort of slight grittiness. I think it's phenomenal. And again, I rate this about an 8.5 or something. It's sort of all up there. fantastical. I think the perfume is excellent. I loved this era of Tom Ford. I think it's fantastic. If you want to see more of the reviews, please go back and look at the full-length review. This is just a quick summary. I'm very excited to be reviewing a lot more stuff for you next year. Next year we will be releasing 3 a week, and my friend Mr. Video Unicorn, who's dealing with all the graphics and all of that side, he's in charge of when we do it, but so you will get used to the time and the dates the same as every week. You've probably noticed that I have not put mine in there, and the reason is for that, I think it is gross to do that. I think it shows massive ego, and it is just revolting for me to say, number 1 is mine, and I love mine very much, but this is not about mine, this is about other companies that I'm loving this journey. I really hope you've loved the start of how I'm doing this. I've loved doing this for you. I love seeing the subscribers building and the way we're all communicating, and actually apart from a few nasty bitches, there hasn't actually been many negative people coming to me, so I think you are all wonderful, fantastical unicorns, and we are all obviously soft, gentle people who love perfumery and very, very passionate about perfumery and love the academic side and really appreciate the craft of perfumery. Yes, I have some exciting people coming onto my site which are doing exciting reviews of me next year, so yes. And at this moment in time I'm on a meditation retreat because I like to go 3 to 4 times a year and just really let go of the ego and really let go of money and business and all of that thing and just be me, and me at the base of it is a very simple human being, and I love to look after and nourish that side of myself because it helps to nourish me. And I hope you are having a fantastical, wonderful new year filled with love and kindness, and be kind to yourself, love each other, and really embrace who we are as human beings. And I shall leave you with a lovely message, and I shall see you next year for some fragrance reviews.